Um, have you like when you're on the run? You said you didn't do much stretching. You had those Normatec compression boots. But did you ever at any stage, or was there any roadhouses along the way where or servos where you get bags of ice and like an esky or something and just hop in there? Because there's obviously a lot of literature now that goes to show that there is some really strong benefits in terms of recovery with cryotherapy.
Yeah, I think when my ankle was the size of a grapefruit, I think we had got like filled out emptied one of our storage buckets we had there, like a little tub there, and we filled it with ice, and then I just put my legs in it. But there was nothing big enough that I was carrying that I could sit in because I'm 6'3". So, but yeah, a lot of benefits in inflammation and recovery as
Yeah.
well. Obviously, not just me running every day and then jumping in there. I won't get um, the adaptations as much if you sort of get that inflammation and that stress and you try and take it away. But definitely, if you're doing something like that, you do have access to a blow up pool and access to ice. If you are going like do a multi day things where you do want to recover quicker, I reckon there's a lot of benefits to the cold exposure.
Yeah, and as you hit the nail on the head there with that adaptation, because there's a lot of literature coming out now about how it impacts protein synthesis. So I guess in training, when you're trying to get those adaptations, it is obviously something that isn't as beneficial. I think I was listening to Andrew Huberman recently. He was talking a little bit about how ice baths before things like strength training are now really more beneficial for protein synthesis as opposed to doing it after your session. And a lot of rugby teams. So I did a little bit of work with the New South Wales Waratahs Generation Blue performance team, and the principles they kind of adopted was more, warm hydrotherapy prior to, um, in the preseason when they're trying to get those adaptations and build strength and build muscle mass and promote those adaptations we talked about. Warm hydrotherapy they generally utilize to prevent losing that improvement in protein synthesis. And then during the season, when they've got to go back to back with matches, and often, you see these days in the National Rugby League, they have really short turnarounds. Um, and cryotherapy, in that sense, I guess they're prioritizing recovery as opposed to getting those adaptations in season. So then it can be a really good thing, going back to back. So I just thought in the nature of a run like you did from Perth to Sydney, where you'd really want to place your focus on that quick turnaround and recovering really quickly. I can imagine that something like that cold therapy would be really beneficial. And I know something that Ned tended to use throughout his run as well. You saw he was doing a lot of ice baths to help him really recover and bounce back for that next day, especially when you got so much inflammation from just pounding the pavement all day. I can't imagine how long you were on the road running for each day, like
Yeah, like 6, 7, 8 hours.
8 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Yeah, ice is great for injury prevention. So you're obviously trying to prevent injuries. You're not trying to adapt as you go. You're just trying to be able to get up and run the next day. So
Yeah.